Is this on already? Okay. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. You're glad it's Friday? Good. I'm going to talk to you about some simple stuff, and I brought with me candy. So if you can answer questions that I ask you after, then I'll give you a piece of candy. So I'm here to talk about financial aid. It's coming up. Sunday is the first day that you can start working on your 18-19 FAFSA. And I know you're saying, whoa, wait a minute. I just finished a FAFSA. I just got financial aid. Why are you telling me that I have to fill out another FAFSA? Our academic years run from summer quarter through spring quarters. So July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019 falls under the 18-19 FAFSA. So we're going to get you to do another FAFSA, and the Department of Ed has made it easier for students now. It starts in October rather than if you filled out a FAFSA a few years ago, it was January. They're making it easier for families to do it in October. They've got lots of time to get those applications in. You know, if you happen to be transferring to a four-year university, deadline dates for financial aid and admissions are a lot earlier than the community and technical colleges. And they've also made it based on your prior tax information. So you don't have to scramble around trying to do your 2017 income tax, which we all know we can't do right now, not until January or February. So you'll be using your 2016 tax information. So I've got some handouts here. So if, Wendy, if you could help me, and then if you could help me pass those around. Keep in mind, some of these links may not exactly work yet because this is all brand new, getting all this information out to students. So pretty much the application process is the same from year to year. It's just there's a different FAFSA that you will complete, and you can start doing that on October 1st. The summer quarter priority processing deadline, yes?
Can we get Megan Marks to help us?
Megan Marks is no longer with us, but Leah Johnson, who was a longtime EOC advisor, is back at our campus. So yes, you can make appointments with her. I was also going to tell you on Leah Johnson is EOC, Education Opportunity Center advisor, and she works with Clover Park to sit down and do one-on-one sessions with students to help them do the FAFSA. She also helps students do master promissory notes, the entrance counseling. You're shaking your head like you know. Yeah. It's a fantastic resource for the financial aid office because we are so busy processing your financial aid that we don't get a lot of time to go out and do things like this with students and help them with FAFSAs. So a couple things that we started last year is on the first and third Wednesdays of the month in Building 15 in the computer lab, we've got a FAFSA WASFA workshop. So if you want to come on the first and third Wednesday of the month, come to the library. There's financial aid staff there to help you. We can just be there as you're doing your FAFSA. So the deadline dates, as most of you know, deadline dates are very important. Our summer quarter priority processing deadline date is going to be April 13th. So what that deadline date means is the FAFSA has to be processed by the Department of Ed and sent back to Clover Park. All of the information that's in the financial aid portal, which you can access 24/7, once the FAFSA is processed, the Department of Education could select you for verification, where 30% of the people who apply for financial aid get selected for verification. We have to verify that what is on your FAFSA matches what you filed with the IRS. You could be selected for selective service, which is for those of you gentlemen in the room, between the ages of 18 and 25, you had to register for selective service. So in order to get federal money, you kind of have to do some stuff. So, and we will never know ahead of time what the Department of Ed is going to flag your FAFSA for. So once your FAFSA comes back to us, we send you an email saying, welcome to Clover Park, we've got your FAFSA, log into the financial aid portal and see what documents you need to submit. When you're in the portal, the documents you need to submit will have little gray down arrows beside them. You click on that document, print it out, and then you can bring it into our office. So the FAFSA has to be processed by the Department of Education back to Clover Park, and any of those forms that are showing in the financial aid portal have to be back to our office by 5 o'clock on April 13th, 2018. Okay? Another piece of information, the way we communicate with students, number one is the portal. Number two, I'm going to show of hands. Who has activated their student-assigned email account already? Hallelujah! Okay, I'm going to leave these for those of you who have not activated your student email. The financial aid office contacts you through the portal, which is not a proactive portal. So once we put something in the portal, it doesn't send an email out to you. You have to be proactive and go and check the financial aid portal. We send emails to your student-assigned email account. The reason that we do that is because a lot of times we've got really personal, sensitive information, and we don't want to send emails to your private email because we don't really know if it's you. The school is bound by FERPA, which is the Family Education Rights and Privacy, or Privacy and Rights Act, where we have to ensure that we've got a secure way to let students know information. So I'll leave these for you to grab if you haven't activated the student email. A cool feature in the email is that you can forward your student email to an email that you already use, personal email you have. How many have done that, have set that up? Perfect. And it works good for you? Yep. So this handout here gives the instructions on how to do that. It's really easy. Yes?
So you said that this Sunday is when we can...
This Sunday is when you can start doing the 18-19 FAFSA. And please, 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 if at all possible, there's another cool feature inside the FAFSA. The IRS and the Department of Ed have teamed up, and you can link your 2016 tax information from the IRS and bring it into the FAFSA. Has anybody tried that on previous FAFSAs? Did it work okay for you? It didn't work? So sometimes, depending on your filing status, you may not be able to use the IRS data retrieval tool, but if you can, please use that because it'll save you headaches later on. If you get selected for verification, you won't have to contact the IRS to get an IRS tax transcript. And most of us know contacting the IRS. So just save yourself a lot of headaches. It'll be much easier on you if you use that data retrieval tool, and it'll pop up right in the income section when you're reporting all your income. Another thing that I wanted to let you know about is we've got kind of two sets of funding that we disperse through the financial aid office. We've got traditional aid, which is Pell Grant, State Need Grant, Work Study Student Loans. Then we have the workforce development programs, Opportunity Grant, BFET, Worker Retraining, Work First. I've brought some handouts here, flyers, because you may be eligible for both types of funding. So they give you a little eligibility criteria in this pamphlet. If you are interested, you think you might be eligible, you need some extra funds to help you out going to school, they're located in Building 16. Opportunity Grant and BFET have moved in with the Workforce Development Office. They're no longer located in the Financial Aid Office. So this is another really fantastic resource to help with your schooling. Yes?
We tried applying for that in 2016.
Okay.
They said the only time they'll approve us if we go into our LPN class.
Yes, some of them if you're going for the LPN, they can't help you with the prereqs. OG and BFET can't, but Work First, worker retraining may be able to help you. So you may want to check to see if you'd be eligible for those programs. So take a look at this. What else was I going to say? I think that's it. So it's candy time. Wake you guys up, get you sugared up for the class. Yes?
So you said for the Elegant program that they won't help for the prereqs, but workforce and
Worker retraining.
what is that?
So Work First is if you're receiving TANF benefits from the state. Worker retraining is if you've been employed and then are receiving unemployment. So you're receiving unemployment benefits within the last 48 months, they may be able to assist you.
And if you're only receiving food stamp, they'll still fulfill that one?
BFET they may. Opportunity grant I know for sure no, but I would check with BFET. Because things have changed. Since they transitioned over to workforce development, a lot of the policies and procedures are changing. So I would go back and double check with them. Okay? Yes? Sorry?
FAFSA.
Yes?
Not the FAFSA.
So the only thing that you would be eligible for, if you're doing prerequisites just to get accepted into the LPN or RN programs, you're only eligible for student loans, which you still have to complete the FAFSA, but the only type of funding that you'll receive are student loans, the direct student loan. Once you get into the LPN or RN program, then the other traditional types of financial aid, Pell Grant, State Need Grant, Work Study, well, you probably won't be able to do work study when you're in that program because it's so intense, then you'd be eligible for those types of funding. It's because the prereqs are not considered a program of study, and you're taking these classes to be accepted into a program. So the Department of Education will only allow us to give students student loans. Yes?
What about for if you're using a PA benefits? Is there any type of grant as well that FAFSA can?
Well, the VA funding and the FAFSA are handled separately. So if you're receiving VA funding, you'd want to check with Glenda Epps upstairs in Building 17. But you could, if you're getting VA funding, depending on your program, you can get VA funding and financial aid at the same time. So it just depends on what program of study you're in. Yes?
So I use the LPA program as well, so these are prerequisites for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been paying for school, and I was told, because I didn't get the 15 I was going to school also at a different time, and I was with my mom, so she covered me.
Oh, okay.
But she had to go and get that, she didn't have it for one of those verification things from the FAFSA, so
Right.
we needed for IRS transfer. So the woman in the financial aid office said that if I could get that in, still in the quarter account, I get reimbursed at the end of this quarter.
Yep.
Does that count?
It does. So just because the 17-18 deadlines have passed for summer and fall quarters and you haven't applied for aid, you can still apply now, and we would, and it's not really a reimbursement because it just depends on what you're eligible for. We can go back to summer and fall quarter if you were attending those quarters and make a late disbursement.
But so when you're talking about like the federal aid, the Pell Grant and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I know that's if you're in the prerequisites for like the LPA program, you're not in a program or anything yet. I thought you don't get.
You don't get the grant assistance, but you get the student loans. But that's all part of financial aid is just an umbrella term for Pell Grant, State Need Grant, Work Study, and student loans. So just because you're not eligible for the grant types of aid because you're in the LPN prereqs doesn't mean that you're not eligible for the student loans. So if you applied, did the FAFSA, and applied for the loans, then we could disperse the loans to you later in this quarter if you started fall quarter.
But I still have to pay that back.
Yes.
So I might as well just pay for it.
Right.
February.
Yeah. And do most of you know that the Clover Park has a foundation office that you can apply for scholarships? Each quarter you can apply for scholarships. So I would go out to the, once you go to the main financial, or the Clover Park website. In the search, put foundation scholarships. It'll take you to the page, and it'll give you all the criteria for applying. There's like signs up all over campus now that they're accepting applications for the winter and spring quarters. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple questions. So I mentioned to you a few ways that financial aid communicates with students. What are they? And? Okay. So let's put hands up instead of... Are you allowed to have candy? Okay. You're getting way too excited. Okay. So I also mentioned when the... No? Okay. When the summer quarter financial aid deadline is. Can anybody remember the date that I told you? Put your hand up. Yep.
Thank you.
There you go. Pick one, anyone.
I wouldn't wait till that deadline.
No. The sooner.
Inviting things to go wrong when you wait till the last.
Yeah. And a lot of students do, and they come to me and they get mad at me because I have to tell them no. They wait till the 13th to do their FAFSA and said, well, I did it. I did it on the deadline day. Well, yeah, the deadline day is when everything has to be in, not just you submitting the FAFSA to the Department of Ed, because it takes them at the most 3 days to process the FAFSA. So as soon as that FAFSA comes out, start doing it. The state sets up our system so you'll be able to look at the portal probably mid-December. So make sure that you're checking that portal and get those documents in. And if you have any questions, come and see us at the financial aid office. Okay? Does anybody have any other questions? Yes?
How far in advance are you on the wait list for the program? Do they tell you what you're doing in so you have time to apply?
The best way, because we don't know, because it all depends on if students are dropped, for non-payment or not coming, the best thing is to get your financial aid all done early and just wait. You don't want to have to wait to get into a class and then do your financial aid because you'll be trying to play catch up. So do that financial aid application. Yes. Yeah, because you...
My last semester in ed, and then I had nothing left, and they said it's 2 to 3 year wait list. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Medical laboratories.
Yeah, so I would go ahead and do it anyways, and at least the awards are there. If you're not in the program, you can easily fill out a revision form and tell us that you're not attending. Yeah. There was a hand over here. Oh, okay. Yep. It's always better to be way ahead of the game than trying to catch the ball that's already over your head. So...
Get the financial aid necessarily at the last minute. So have it ready so that if you get in, the money's there. If you don't get in, it's not dispersed to you. You just roll it over for next time.
Okay, the Surge Tech program, I heard now it's first come, first served, so there's no waiting.
And I don't know. That's out of my area expertise. Enrollment services keeps me in my own little financial aid bubble. So you may want to check with enrollment services. They may have more information. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for letting me come in and talk to you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to come and visit us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.